Hobo Yeti here. I've been working on a book these last couple of months. In between the ups and downs, the chaos and the quiet, medication makes it harder. Sometimes I'm way up, sometimes I'm crushed down, sometimes I feel like I'm strung out on nothing at all. And trying to write in the middle of all that is its own battle. But this book isn't going to be your typical how-to guide. I've already made hundreds of videos for that, showing what to do, what gear helps, how to make it through the night. This is about something else. It's about the emotional catastrophe that comes with homelessness, the fear, the frustration, the loneliness that eats at you more than hunger ever could. It's not instruction, it's anthem. Like the songs you turn to when you're gutted by a breakup, you don't need them to fix anything. You need them because they make you feel less alone in your wreckage. That's what I'm trying to write here. Chapters that can be opened like songs, that meet you where you are in whatever stage you're in. The book is called The Weight of Silence and the Meaning of Salt, and it's written like a companion to those inner states, not a step-by-step plan. You don't have to read it front to back. You can pick a chapter, fear, despair, anger, even grace, and let it speak to whatever you're carrying in that moment. The first stage of homelessness I've called the shattering, because that's what it feels like. Everything you thought you were, everything you thought you had, breaks apart. And the very first voice in that shattering is fear. So here it is, Chapter 1, on fear. Fear isn't polite, it doesn't knock. It slides in uninvited the first night you're out, when the last scraps of normal life have already burned away and all that's left is you, the dark and the sick knowledge that no one's coming. It feels like being put on a pedestal in the middle of a stadium. Every shadow becomes an audience. Every crunch in the brush is a spotlight. You don't think, I'm camping. You think, I'm exposed. The air is too sharp, the ground too thin, the night too long. You hear it all. The wind in the branches, the squirrel with a grudge, the raccoon casing your pack like a thief in a cheap movie. But your mind translates every sound into a human footstep. Is it the homeless guy you passed earlier? Did he see you come in here? Did someone follow? You tell yourself it doesn't matter, but it does. Because when you sleep, the armor falls off. That's the fragile truth. Wakefulness is your only weapon. Close your eyes and you're defenseless. So you stay awake. You listen. You sniff the air like an animal. Fear makes you hypervigilant, tuning your senses so tight they hum like violin strings. You learn the rhythm of the city. Cars fading, sirens carried by the wind, a distant drunk shouting at no one. You learn the silence of the forest, which isn't silence at all, but a collage of rustling leaves, sudden thumps, and the question mark calls of owls. None of it lets you rest. Fear makes you a scholar of noises. In daylight it's different, but not better. Some people will throw a tent right down in a patch of grass, shrugging off the risk. You can't. Fear makes you strategize. Where can I pitch so no one will see? Is this patch of trees too thin? Will someone stumble across me? The logic is simple. Being seen equals being threatened. It doesn't matter if the threat is real. It's enough that your mind insists it could be. Housed fear was different. Back then it was about screwing up at work, about not finding love, about medical bills that could topple a life carefully stacked. That was a luxury. Out here, fear cashes out all those chips. Your plans have already failed. Fear has already won. And yet it doesn't let you retire. It morphs. It breeds new offspring. How do I eat? How do I keep warm? What if coyotes come sniffing? What if the wrong human does? Fear never goes extinct. It adapts. There's a special kind of fear that crawls your spine at night. Not the fear of footsteps or headlights, but something darker, a shapeless dread that makes you feel pursued. It might be nothing. It might be a trick of exhaustion. But it feels ancient, as if the world itself is hunting you. Loneliness feeds it. Disconnection feeds it. You're already cut off from everything that used to anchor you. Your brain invents threats to fill the void. The way you cope is simple. Vigilance. One earbud in, the other out, because stories can distract, but predators, real or imagined, can't be ignored. You monitor every scent, every shift of dirt under your boots. Fear forces you to become both soldier and prey, always scanning, always listening. This is how survival works. Attention is the currency. Then there's panic. That sudden, stomach-dropping realization you camped in the wrong place. Maybe it's a spot where drug users drift in and out, or where off-roaders rip through at night. Suddenly, fear isn't background noise. It's an emergency siren in your skull. Your mind races. If they see me, if they come back, if they decide to screw with me, then what? Fear becomes a movie projector, showing you all the bad endings. You pack up and move fast, heart hammering because logic doesn't matter. The apparition does, but exhaustion is stronger than fear, at least for a while. After a couple of sleepless nights when you've dragged yourself from a government office to a new hiding spot and back again, fear burns itself out. You're too tired to care. You drop your pack, throw your tent down sloppy, and mutter, "Screw it. If someone sees, let them. If someone takes, let them." The body wants rest more than it wants safety. Sleep wins a temporary battle, but fear is patient. It always comes back. Even years in, it lingers. It just shifts its shape. At first, it was about being seen, being followed, being caught. Later, it's about losing what little you still have. When there's $100 in your pocket, fear loosens its grip. You could replace a blanket, maybe even buy a tent if someone trashed yours. But when you're down to 20, fear tightens its hold. 20 doesn't replace anything. 20 doesn't shield you from a cold night. So you carry a puff jacket and a beanie in your pack like talismans, backups against disaster. You hope there'll be enough. Fear is primal, but it's also logical. It isn't just monsters in the dark, it's the practical math of survival, calories in, warmth out, the thin line between okay and not okay. Fear sharpens you, makes you careful, but it also chains you. You don't wander freely, you don't trust easily. You live in the cage it builds, where every decision is filtered through the same relentless question, what if? Fear isn't always real. Sometimes the druggies don't come back. Sometimes no one notices the tent. Sometimes the night passes quiet. But fear makes you assume otherwise. You gamble wrong and you lose teeth or blood or the last gear you own. Out here you bet safe. Out here fear is both compass and prison guard. The cruel irony is that fear keeps you alive while stealing your life. You become alert, resourceful, sharper than you've ever been, but you also become smaller, tighter, wound up like a wire. The wider world fades, joy fades. Even when the sun rises, you don't relax. You just wait for the next risk. You live, but you don't live. And sometimes, on rare nights, you forget. The exhaustion hits right, the breeze is gentle, the stars scatter themselves across the sky like they might actually mean something. You let go, you sleep, you wake up shocked that nothing happened. Those nights are mercy, but they don't erase the truth. Fear always waits. Fear always follows. It never leaves, it just changes its mask. That's the inheritance of the first stage. The shattering doesn't end after night one, it keeps happening. Every time the fear shifts into new form, you break again and again until you realize this is the rhythm. Vigilance, panic, exhaustion, surrender, repeat. And the strangest part? You adapt. You normalize it. You live with fear like it's an unwelcome roommate. It never leaves, but you stop expecting it to. Fear is survival. Fear is prison. Fear is the anthem of the first nights, the first months, the first years, and it never, ever shuts up. That's the beginning of the book. Raw, unfiltered, not softened into easy lessons, just the truth as it feels when the ground gives way. I hope your road is a good one, and if you're homeless, I hope it doesn't suck for you. Take care.